This may look like any other ordinary Miele Compact C2 Extreme power line, but no, this is an extraordinary Miele C2 Extreme power line because it's cordless. This is now a 24 volt compact C2 Extreme power line, and I'm going to show you the monster that we have created, and then we're going to test him out. And yes, set your expectations slightly low because 24 volts is cool, the concept is there, but as I think we might be about to see, it's probably not quite the time to be doing this mod. But I've done it, let's have a look anyway. Yes, hello, my vacuum cleaner chums. How are you today? Yes, for the casual observers amongst you, yes, this is literally as easy as it seems. I've just cut the Vax Blade 2 control panel and screwed it to the top. The Vax Blade 2 motor is sat in there. The Vax Blade 2 batteries are sat under there. The Vax Blade 2 power switch sits here, and there's the Vax Blade 2 LED. And by doing all that in here, it looks quite nice. This body was scrap. It's been out in the garden for a year or two now. It's actually where the decent motor and tools and other stuff for the Miele Red Velvet came from, because it's basically exactly the same machine. There would have been the power knob. It is what it is. The other problem with this machine, or one of them, is that it's missing its bag holder. I would have put this out for scrap and thrown that away, so the bag just sort of unceremoniously pushes onto a bit of insulation tape that I put on there. But hey, I could spend the 15 quid a bag holder costs. I might even find the one that I've got. I'm not too sure yet. Oh, we'll just pop that out of the way for now, but discuss it later. And yeah, it's literally just a bog standard Miele filter. I mean, it doesn't need any of them. Oh, hang on. Because it's already got a little 20 volt motor in it, but it works really quite well. Oh, put that down there. Obviously this now does absolutely nothing, but it does hold the DC charging jack, so you can take the Vax Blade 24 volt charger and plug it straight in. Shall we lift the lid off and show you what it looks like inside? We can just pop this off here, pop that off there, and yeah, there's no modification to this bit of tool. That bar, we've had to drill some holes and cut some holes for the ribbon cables to go through, and yeah, we'll have a look underneath. Right, now we've got to be a little bit careful here, because there is now a ribbon cable running from the top to the bottom, and the only real quick way to get that off is to just unplug it, which I'll try to do like so. There we go, yeah, all that sits under here, look, is the ribbon cable comes down from the top. Everything else stays pretty much untouched. I had to fill the switch bottom with hot glue and put a little tiny screw in it so it touches the micro switch, and that's it. The magic happens here. And yeah, bit of pipe, pretty much almost exactly the same size as the motor. Nice bit of hot glue to hold it in, and that just goes straight into the battery, because the battery on the Vax Blade 2 etc has all of the stuff, so it's just plugged in. Look, there's the DC jack with its original bracket just hanging out there inside the remains of the hollowed out cord reel. And yeah, this is as simple as that. It is really cool. Very happy with it. I mean, you know, this isn't affixed to this. We could take it all off if we wanted to. I'm not, because it is sort of wedged in there by itself. There's not going to be much torque, so I wasn't that worried about everything exploding off. So with that in mind, and you know, bearing in fact that this is just a Vax Blade 2 24 valve, I think we should have a little bit of a play with it and see what sort of dirt it can pick up. Now, because this is essentially a Vax Blade 2 in a much nicer form factor, I mean, oh, it's not at the minute, but it should be bagged. There we go, look, imagine this form factor of machine. I mean, Morphy Richards got slightly close with that rotary vacuum that I have. And that is how this very simple concept works. I mean, you don't get many cordless vacuums in this form factor, you know, just a straight up cylinder. The Belgrade roller cordless is probably the best example I've got. Then the Henry cordless, but you can't really ever find those for sale. And then the big boy NBV pneumatic cordless that I have, but that's like £800 because that's a commercial machine. And then things like the Sebo BP60 will obviously kick this thing's behind on carpet, but this would trounce it on everything else. Yeah, it's now really simple. You turn it on, and because it's a Vax Blade, it goes into max, so we can turn it down, and you get some airflow. Almost pick itself up, but that doesn't really say anything now because this thing weighs literally nothing. I mean, my scales might weigh it actually. You won't see it, but that says 2.844 kilos. So under 3 kilograms, or I guess £6, 4 ounces. It's really, really lightweight. And that's where the fun sort of starts to break down, because this was a scrap machine and I sold and got rid of the things of value, so I didn't have a hose. However, it turns out that if you smash off the outside of a Miele S5 hose until you are left with this bit, you can, and then I heat shrink it onto this bit which was on there. I think it's for like one of the models like this but with a different hose in, probably a later one. I can now fit the tool holder. This then becomes the perfect size to just wedge into there like so. And now it's actually quite nice because it has a proper hose. The suction can hold the hose up almost on boost. And yeah, I've been using this around the house just for picking up, you know, little bits here and there. You put the crevice tool on and suddenly this turns into this. Ooh. Yeah, it's better. It's been surprisingly handy. The hose pretty much fits like the original and still swivels at the original Miele end on this hose, so that's absolutely fine. And yeah, this thing literally weighs nothing. I can pick it up and swing it around by its hose. It's so gorgeous. Attached on the end is a universal C head, because I don't really have anything more suitable, and just some wands. And oh, this is the machine that I think Vax should have a crack at making. It is very nice, although again this is Vax Sell the Blade with a spinning brush. Let's pick up a little bit of dirt, or attempt to, and perhaps highlight why. Here is just a small amount of sawdust scattered on the surface, and whilst it would probably be enough to completely fill a Vax Blade up, this is going to be okay. The question is, how long is it going to take it to pick it up? We're going to leave it in boost because we're probably going to need to. It's not bad. Okay, I'm going to go down to low. Oh, I mean, if you were, you know, trying to clean up late at night in your bedroom or in an airport or somewhere, that's enough actually. Oh, it's doing it. I mean, it doesn't feel like it's doing anything. It feels like I'm just pushing a turned off vacuum cleaner. And it's almost a shame I don't have any of the really modern style Miele EU heads with the thinner air pass. I think that would probably make a bit of a difference. But what does make a lot of difference is making this more competitive with the Vax Blade 2 on which it is. Because I found during building this, I didn't have a hose at all. And I grabbed this from the cupboard. This came from Barton's. I only got it because if I chop the ends off here and here, it's a very nice representation of a Hitachi hose. But it also fits and pushes into there a treat. Now it only swivels on this end, and it doesn't swivel particularly well. But this is how I was using it to start with. And it again, really nice indeed. Just a little hose on a machine. But what this does enable us to do is to play with 32mm fitments. And with a 32mm fitting, we can do things like grab my Vax Blade 2's hacked power head. And all of a sudden this thing is pretty much what it should be. And I put a lot more sawdust down now. This would probably really kill a Vax Blade 2. But now it doesn't. We have to turn it on separately, and again it will probably pick up a fair bit just as a carpet sweeper. But if we turn the machine on, I'm going to put it straight down to low. All of a sudden, this is wicked. It doesn't need much airflow now, just like the original machine was designed. But the brush roll does all of the work. Get split round and now put it on boost. Oh yeah. I mean, the Vax Blade would have been full by now, but this will keep on going. I mean, we can even use it off. Like, you can use your Vax Blade without the brush roll turning. I don't know why you would. I guess the hard floor. But it really is a lovely, lovely thing to use. I'm almost tempted to carry in. This is the problem now. This is why I'm doing this video now. So let's discuss. This is effectively version 1. The concept works. Ow, I've got the hose caught around my foot. Ow! There we go. The concept works, it works really well, and it was really easy to fit to this turd of a machine, which, is obviously a scrapper. So it's not pretty, it's not beautiful, and that's fine. So I mean, I could go out and buy a proper hose for it. I'm probably not going to. I'm probably just going to stick to this now with the 35mm. But, crikey, using this Vax power head did not get me thinking, and it would be lovely if maybe we converted it to 32mm still, although that's going to pose a problem for the tools, or keep it to 35 and just put an adapter at the end of this, because what I've also got is this, and this is the power socket loom that sits behind this brush roll. Obviously if I push that now, it'll be sending power to the socket, but nothing is happening at all. This is going to, I think, be stage 2, where I'll either, confirm this hose setup or actually get another one, or maybe even change the whole machine. But I think with perhaps a different power head, we could power this from itself using various cables, take down the machine, just like the olden days when you could buy a proper power head of Miele. But I don't know really, I mean, especially if I tilt you this way, look, there's a lot of laminate floor in there, and Felix's Fanta bottle that he kicks around the floor, and if we go chuck some more sawdust down, I don't know, this thing's pretty damn good for just being in low power with the mess on the hard floor. I mean, it does it. If I'm cleaning up in between the meeting, I mean, heck, we can go to full power. The battery's going to last a while on straight suction. We haven't even gone down 1 bar yet. And with this form factor, which is maybe why I love the MBD, you can just clean and go everywhere. No limits at all. So there we go really, this is version 1. I think the concept works very, very well and it's certainly a goer. I think I'm going to try and stick to this compact C2 extreme power line just because it works very well. I've already trimmed the board from the Vax's power button down to fit inside of this. I'll have to redo all of that again. I think the next step is to make this thing more OEM, a nice powered hose, a nice powered brush roll and everything in between. And I cannot help but think, and again comment down below, this has got a 24 volt Vax Blade in it. Is the 32 volt Vax Blade actually any more powerful or not? Because, and this is where my big caveat came from at the beginning, it's okay, you know, it's a 24 volt brushed DC motor. It's, you know, bless it, it's only as good as that, and it's not very good. I'm seeing like 24 volt brushless 350 watt motors on Amazon, eBay and AliExpress, and I would rather like to know how to wire those up. Or we simply wait until the passage of time. Vax now have digital cordless blades. Shark, I think, are going down the digital route. If you chopped off some of the motor housing to keep the fan case thing intact on a Dyson V11, V10 or V15, you could probably use this digital motor. I think in a year's time we could do this all again with some scrap cordless and get a much better result, simply just due to how things have moved on. So I think I'm going to keep it as a 24 volt for now, go all the way, get it a nice Miele C2 cat and dog or whatever the equivalent would have been. But comment down below, what motor / vacuum would you use, in what body, or would you just go down the AliExpress route? And if so, and you know what you're on about, what board do you get, what batteries can you run it on, and all that fun stuff. And tell me, is this something that you've ever done, or do you think you will now? Because again, we could pretty this up by soldering off the LEDs and fitting them somewhere and doing all sorts. This is just a proof of concept. But again, it works well. It was just plug and play. All of the buttons work. You can see the battery, the charging management's all there because it's all inside the Vax board. The whole thing works well. So there we go. This is my Miele Compact C2 24 volt Power Line Extreme. And I and it will see you soon. Happy vacuuming!